In what ways does a media product use, develop, or challenge films and conventions of real-life media products? As the brief was to create a horror film opening, I spent several hours watching and analysing the first few minutes or so in a horror film to find out what the key features were. To ensure I fulfilled the generic conventions and so audience expectation, I zoomed in on the micro-elements of the horror genre to influence my ideas for my own horror film opening and how they make up the macro-elements. The mise-en-scene in horror films are generally all similar. An example of this is the horror film Scream. The opening begins in a house surrounded by many glass windows and doors. This emphasizes the vulnerability of the main character, who is a young woman, because glass can easily be broken. Therefore, for the main brief, we have decided to film the beginning in the kitchen because there is a lot of glass. Stereotypically, women are seen as inferior to men and are weak, hence the choice of gender for the protagonist. The costumes she is wearing are light colours, reinforcing the idea that the protagonist is innocent and pure. Her makeup is minimal, which supports the innocent character, but it is then contradicted by the red lipstick, making her seem more sexualized. In the main brief, the protagonist would be a young female, which links with the stereotypical gender representations. This links with Laura Mulvey's male gaze theory, which states the audience of the film have to view the characters from the eyes of a heterosexual male, meaning that women are admired for their appearances and are often seen as objects rather than humans. We wanted to create a protagonist who is vulnerable and emotional to increase audience sympathy, but we also wanted to contradict the assumption that all women are weak. Therefore, the protagonist is shown walking alone in the dark, which portrays her independence, which subverts from the gender stereotypes. Her makeup is also limited, so it is more subtle, and her clothes are not bold colours to reflect on her personality. An important iconography in the film is the set of knives in the kitchen table. It foreshadows the coming events of death and danger. Another iconography is the cooking popcorn, which is a visual representation of the build-up of events. As the foil cover begins expanding, it shows the climax of the opening. There were limited iconography in the main brief, however, because most of the shots were filmed outside, so not many props were needed. During the first minute of the Scream opening, an establishing shot is used to give the audience a sense of where the film is set. This was an exterior shot from the garden where we can see it's late at night. Most horror films tend to be set when it gets dark. This is because it increases fear as many people dislike the dark. The darkness also makes it difficult for the characters to see, and people tend not to travel late at night, which means the area is likely to be isolated. The research influenced our decisions on what time during the day to film, as we noticed through all our research that most horror films are set at night. However, it was not possible to film during the evening as it would be too dark and we do not have professional lighting. Therefore, we chose to film at 4 p.m. just as it's getting dark and when the streetlights have turned on. A variety of sound was used in the main brief, both diegetic and non-diegetic, to illustrate the genre of horror. The influence came from the research of many horror films, particularly the film Blade. In the film Blade, different uses of sound were used to convey the sense of horror in the opening. As the film begins, there is non-diegetic low background music. The minor key and sustained notes immediately sets the tone of the film, which suggests that something unpleasant is going to happen. In the main brief, we have chosen a piece of background music with dissonant chords and long-held notes played with string instruments. This is so that it gives off an eerie atmosphere and the long-length sounds increase the suspense. When the location changes, there are faint sounds of metal rats and cages, which is quite unnerving because it can suggest inescapability. This is diegetic as they are walking through a slaughterhouse which has many metal gates. The background of music changed into a slightly different style due to the change of location. Therefore, in the main brief, the non-diegetic background music changed when the location switched from indoors to outdoors. This juxtaposes the contrast between the protagonist's danger and the antagonist. As the play progresses, diegetic club music can be heard faintly in the background. It gradually gets louder to show that the characters are getting closer to the source. A door finally opens to reveal that the music is from a lively club. The loud, fast-paced music combined with the fast-paced editing and montage of shots make it quite disorientating to watch. This makes the audience quite uncomfortable. There is uses of Foley in the next few shots where there are sound effects that have been edited in. For the main brief, diegetic sound effects such as rustling leaves and whispers will be edited in afterwards. This would increase the volume and make it more noticeable. The background music would also increase to create tension and suspense before it reaches the climax of the opening. There is a sudden silence just before the build-up of events, which makes the scene more dramatic yet confusing to the audience as they're probably wondering why the music had stopped. During that brief moment, quiet sounds of raindrops can be heard to emphasize the silence and isolation of the area. Many horror films have similar camera movements and angles to represent the genre. A good example of this is the film Sirens. The opening begins with a long shot to cover one side of the room, showing the bedroom door and the surroundings. This then follows with a close-up of the male's face, who is positioned on the left. Similar to the open of the main brief, Emily is also positioned on the left side as the other side is of significance. Glass window on her left emphasizes her vulnerability, as the glass is easy to break. During the first 30 seconds or so in Signs, a scream is let out from the distance. The camera follows the man using a variety of medium and long shots to capture his body language, but to also show the surroundings so the audience has an idea of where they are. As the protagonist reaches the door, another close-up shot is used to show his concerned expression. Throughout the main brief, a number of close-up shots were used to capture how her facial expressions changes throughout. There are also medium-long shots to show what the inside of the house looks like as she is walking out the room. The scene in Sign changes to an exterior shot through a bedroom window, which gives the audience a feeling as if someone is watching. This shows a new character being introduced. Our horror film opening has also got an exterior shot, so it engages the audience as if they were watching through the eyes of the antagonist. The camera then pans quite quickly through Signs, which is quite effective as it shows the direction of gaze from the characters. This, however, did not work quite well during filming for our main brief, because as Emily was quite close to the camera, it made the pan look quite disorientating. The quick camera pan is linked with POV shots afterwards, limiting the audience to see what they see, which is what we did in the main brief, but only from the antagonist's point of view. Throughout Signs, many tracking shots were used to follow the action when the two protagonists run through the cornfield. For the main brief, we used this idea to make it seem as if someone is following her. To make this effective, this was done using a handheld camera that we filmed this from a distance to show the space between the antagonist and protagonist. Near the ending of Signs, there is a close-up of the man's feet walking towards something that the audience is unknown to. This keeps the suspense as the audience knows there is something there. The slow camera movement following the direction of feet shows the contrast in the cornfields and shows the importance it has to the film. We used this idea but filmed the feet from the side to reveal that someone is following her, but not showing what the antagonist looked like to keep the mystery going. Before the opening ends, an aerial shot is used to reveal the setting of what seemed to be a crop circle during the end of Signs. However, this shot was not possible during our own filming as we did not have the technology to do so. Editing techniques can be really effective in horror films as it can convey a certain feeling and add tension to the scene. The beginning of Hush begins with a simple black background with white credits, which conforms to the idea that most horror films start off with a black screen. For our own horror film opening, we have decided to have all our credits white on a black background, as these are the typical colours used in horror films. The white credits and the dark background really contrast each other, making it stand out and can show the representations of the protagonist and antagonist. The title of the main brief appears at the end, which fades from white to red, which associate with danger. In comparison to this, the title of Hush appears immediately after the first lines of credit, in a bold black font, which can convey the danger and the antagonist's dominance over the protagonist. This is presented over an establishing shot showing the isolated house, which is a long length shot leading up to the house door. It moves at quite a slow pace to build up tension, almost like a walking pace to give some sense as if a person was looking around the house. The shot then cuts to a montage of clips showing various actions of cooking, only close-ups that does not reveal the face just yet. The shots have been edited to be a shallow depth of field, only focusing on the food of hands. The main brief also has a montage of clips near the end showing various news reports and police cars. This was used to show that the death of the character was very important to the narrative. After the face of the protagonist was shown, low and echoing music was edited in. While this was happening, she carries on cooking where there's short-length shots again. The rest of the sounds have been edited out except for the background sound of low noises, which sounds like it would be like underwater. As the scene continues, it reveals that the protagonist is actually deaf, so the lack of sounds were intentional. The low sounds were probably diegetic to the protagonist and gives the audience an insight of what she can only hear. Throughout the opening, the shots were all quite short, which was similar to the main brief. The length of shots help move the narrative along and follows the action more. There is good continuity in Hush, as match on action is used to change the angle of shot but to make it seamless at the same time. This editing technique was used in the main brief to show Emily walking out the door and down the alleyway. The shot was filmed from down below at a high angle, which makes it seem as someone is hiding. which is then continued by a shot through the car window as if someone is sitting in the car watching her. Finally, shot reverse shot was also used to film the conversation between the two characters in Hush. It followed the 180-degree rule to ensure that the characters were looking at each other. We use this editing technique as well in the horror film opening, but it was between the alleyway and the protagonist. This highlights the fact that the person in the alleyway has now disappeared after Emily looks up again.